Therapy. Yeah, I'm deep in tune with my energy. That's how I wait for you. Get higher than a black, then I'm liable to hurt you. I just fall to the background. I just wanna lay out. The things is on the shade. The time is moving real fast. I just wanna lay. I just wanna lay. Talk is dense, I'm trying to make sense of it. My stomach turning between its lit and the dissonance. I know some people that's feeling sick just existing here. Brain blister, been caught up deep in the thick of it. I lane switch through the fog, it's hard to see where I'm headed. But it ain't no turning back, the past is where we've been. It feel like something missing. And I've been out here on an impossible mission. My head down to myself and I smile to stay in the moment while trying to stay up my feelings. Trying to boost my subscribers, I'm trying to maintain the vision. People that know me closest live different than what they show me. It's hard to feel like they know me when I'm just scrolling through images. Truth be told, I feel pain, but I'm on the pinnacle. Been chasing this music thing for a minute though. Know some good people that never see success. And here I am sitting worried about show appearances. With everything crazy, you still my source of peace. You filter out the lows, you give me what I need. We'll give you the world, but it don't belong to me. It's feeling like it's love, if not, it's the closest I'll be. I sign that I want you, get higher than I'm back down, I'm liable to hurt you. I just fall to the background. I just wanna lay out. The things is on the shade. The time is moving real fast. I just wanna lay. I just wanna lay.
Man, I hope y'all I hope y'all feeling that, man, because I just want to hey, welcome to another edition of the Freight Trapping Podcast. I am your host, your ride or die, your co-pilot for the evening, Mr. James Roberts. And I just want to say that we are happy that you guys have tuned in, like, share, subscribe. If any of these videos are helpful to you, if they're helpful to you, like, subscribe, share them. Tell a young driver, come listen. We got older guys on here giving game, letting you know that, hey, you got some truckers out there that care about you. Care about you on the road, care about your career, because we're not going to be doing this forever. We're not going to be doing this forever, and they are looking to revamp or put some youngsters in the driver's seat. Oh man, let me tell you something. I am tired, and I didn't even do nothing. Well, I did do something, and I hate the way that thing goes out. I did do something. I packed up a truck and I unloaded, loaded, and all of that. We had my cousin then was down with the shout out to the Robertson family. Yeah, we got a deep legacy. 13 boys and girls my grandparents had. And we're making sure that our kids and their kids and they know each other. Because I don't know my dad's side of the family. I don't even know my dad's name. I don't know my grandmother's side of the family. On my dad's side, I do not know anything. And so therefore, I wanted to make sure that my son and my daughter and the people in my family, we wanted to make sure that our kids knew where that came from, knew who their cousins were. Too often we wait till it's too late and we run up on a cousin because you start talking to a stranger and you try to figure out why am I drawn to him or her. You start talking to a stranger and then before you know it, you realizing, man, you know some of the same people. That ain't none of your own. That ain't none of your auntie. That ain't none of your cousin. That's my cousin. And you realize that both of you guys are cousins. Why? Because you may be third or fourth cousins and not first or second. And so we want to alleviate that. And so we had my cousin them. They've always been good at organizing. They're teachers, they're secretaries, they're professional business people, women and men, and they're good at organizing. And so they organized one of the what they were doing on TikTok, the color reunion, the color reunion. And so we had that on yesterday. And my cousin, she has a beautiful house. Shout out to Sonja Anderson, man, and thanks to her husband for opening up their homes to us, man. We had a great time. Next time, I think we probably gonna have to get out there about 11 instead of starting at 3 because black people and I was one of them. She said it started at 3, but I didn't show up till 4. I had some things going on, but that wasn't an excuse. I should have planned better. But I thank you for opening up your home, opening up your land, and opening for our family to come out and be able to just fellowship and reunite. I think everybody should do that. I think everybody should every so often, pull on your family and say, "Hey, let's get together." Man, my aunt Dottie, may God be pleased with her, and I know God is pleased with her. Resting in His bosom, man, um, she really put a staple in our family because her home, and I'm gonna just tell you guys something. You don't have to have a big house, and that's what I learned from her. You don't have to. At the time, her house was nice, but now if you look at the way houses are built now versus how they were back then, you would say, "Ah, this is a small home," but it wasn't. It was a nice home, and she made it her business to at least. I kind of figured at least every other week, once a week. My mom stayed. I think I used to call her that. That's my aunt, but my mom is so far down the uh line. My mom is like the second from the youngest. She has a sister that's younger than her. So she had my grandmother and my grandfather had 13 children, and my mom is the second to the last. And so you can just imagine that I could say at least 4 or 5 of the kids that were born between 1 and 5. By the time my mom was born, she already had a cousin that was older than her, but I mean, a niece or a nephew that was older than her, but but she was younger. Or when by the time they were out having kids, my mom was probably 1 or 2 years older than their oldest kid, or maybe she was 4 or 5 years older than the oldest kid. So you can just imagine my grandmother saying, "Yeah, bring them on over. I got them." And then when they get there, she tell my mom and my aunt that are the two youngest, "Hey, y'all make sure they okay. Y'all go in there and y'all play. Y'all make sure y'all eat." Because when you get a 10 or 12-year old and you got an 8 or 9-year old, a 7-year old, and you got 6 of them, 7 of them, and they're over there, guess what? My mom becomes the babysitter. And so instead of being the babysitter, because they were so close in age when they start growing up, they start kind of like depending on my mom, looking to my mom for advice and asking her this and asking her that and running behind my mom. And they partied together, went to clubs together and all that kind of stuff. And so that legacy and that bond right there is and we have so many, man, we have so many cousins. We have so many family, because when you're married into the family and you have kids, like I married my wife, she has a daughter. We have a daughter now because you know, I'm not a biological. She has a dad, but I'm helping to structure her upbringing, and I'm pouring in the Robertson value into her life as well as what her dad pours in. But when they see us, they don't see stepchild. They see go get your daughter. You know what I'm saying? Go get where's your daughter? And for about a year, I was like, man, I ain't got no kids. And go get your and I had to snap because that's what my family does. Hey, your daughter says she needs something to drink. Or they'll tell her, hey, go get your daddy something to drink. Go get your daddy a fork. And so when I grew up, man, I have like maybe three or four, maybe four cousins that are my cousins. And they are my cousins. But I didn't find out until this last Friday, that my uncle adopted his daughter when he met his wife, and they began a family, and that was his daughter, and they had 4 more kids, and they were all brothers and sisters, no matter the blood. The blood didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they say mud thicker than blood. And my uncle, he got it out the mud, and he raised her. And like I told her, I don't look at you no other way. It ain't no step nothing here. I just found out. So guess what? That don't make a difference to me. So with that being said, but it was beautiful, man. I'm always happy. I'm like maybe well, it's 2 boys in my generation of kids, which when I say generation, ranging from the ages of 45. No, I say ranging from the ages of 45, 46, 47 to 51, 52. I got so many girl cousins. I had to fight when I was young. I had to play roles when I was young. We would go to the mall and they'd be like, "Play, you my boyfriend." I do that, man. And I had to take up for them. And man, I learned how to be a protector at a young age because I had so many girl cousins that guys would want to talk to, and they wouldn't. And so I kind of turned into like security. But needless to say, I'm just saying that, hey man, get in touch with your roots, learn your legacy, make sure you pass that down to your kids, whether you're married to them, especially if you're not married to them, man. Make sure you give your son or your daughter, if you're not living in the household with them, make sure you give them or provide them some type of legacy outline so they know where and who they come from and who their cousins are, their names. That way, if they hear Philip Jones in their 12th grade English class, and they be like, Philip Jones, I seen that name on mine, and I seen the picture in my legacy book. Boy, you my cousin. So that's what I did this weekend, man. It was rewarding. It was rewarding, and I just love family. I love family. You know what I'm saying? My son is growing up. He's growing up so fast, and so I had to make sure that I do something to make sure that if anything happens, and I'm quite sure that my mom, my family, if anything happened to me, it ain't no way they wouldn't wrap their arms around, my wife, whether we were together or not. They would wrap their arms around her and pull her in and make sure that my son, you know what I'm saying, knows his family and knows his cousins. And so that's not that I'm not worried about that at all. But I want to make sure that if something happens to my wife, that he and my daughter have something in their hands to say, this where daddy come from. This is his lifeline. This is his family. This is our family. So if they ever needed to reach out. So that's just something to think about. That's a life lesson. Just something to think about in moving forward with you guys. So today, like I said, I decided what I was going to do. When we do the news issue because it's just news. I'll probably record it and drop it, and you guys can watch it. That way you can go back and kind of see, hey, I need to check on this. I need to do some research on this, and I need to woo, right? Next week, we will be live. We will be interviewing Miss Rachel Barnes. Yeah. We will be interviewing Miss Rachel Barnes, a.k.a. the Disa Diva on TikTok. She will, y'all go check her out. She will be bringing her expertise and her thoughts, and I'm going to let her go. I'm going to let her go, just like Flatbed Diva. Man, me and Flatbed Diva, she's gonna put, her 2 or 3 girls together, and I'm gonna get my 2 or 3 guys, and we're gonna have a panel. We're still gonna talk about the relationships between us, black truck drivers, male and female, because it is a gap. It is a problem. And she can explain it to you too. But we're going to have that panel, and we're going to have some guys and ladies sitting on here with us to discuss that and find out what we can do to make sure that we bridge that gap. And not everybody is out there to hook up, and not everybody is out there to get at you, to get you. So we're going to do that. That's coming in the future. Also, hey man, like I say, don't be afraid to subscribe. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid to comment on any of the past videos. The past videos will explain to you more better who I am, what I do, where I come from. I did this, and I decided to put myself out there because I thought that these young drivers needed somewhere to come through and get good game in this culture of trucking. And I do it behind the scenes, and I'll do it here. It doesn't matter. I'll do it here. We talk trucking all day long. We have people on here. I'm not going to call them experts because I'm not an expert, because if you're an expert, that means you know everything, and I don't. And so we're going to have people on here that can talk to some of those gaps, fill those gaps that I may leave. I may fill some gaps that they may leave. But with all of us coming on here, putting our head together and giving our experience from driving trucks all the way down to diesel mechanics, all the way down to driving a dually, all the way down to doing a box truck. This is a transportation podcast. And under that, with bullet points, we have life lessons, we have health, we have wellness, we have mental health. All of that goes hand in hand when we're living life, trying to make a living in a career that is hard on you. This is a hard career. You guys don't even realize trucking is a hard career. It really is. It is a hard career. So don't take it lightly. Don't take it lightly. And so that's why we come in and we talk about all of this stuff. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, like I say, this is a news edition. So I'm going to be touching on some topics. We're going to talk about some things. The first thing, one of the things, I don't know what order I'm going to go in, but truck brake light extension denied despite industry support. Truck brake light exemption denied. We'll jump into that. Family looking to change CDL loophole after driver who forged medical documents killed their daughter. We're going to dive deep into that. 84 migrants found after concerned citizen reports tractor trailer arriving at nearby residence. We're going to touch on that. Absolutely not. FMCSA slapped with over 700 comments on plan to mandate electronic ID technology. We're going to start with that. And like I say, I won't be here long. This is Football Sunday. Football season has started, and we're going to dive into these things, and we're going to get out of them. We're going to get back to life. We're going to get back to living, and we're going to take everything that we learned and we're gonna make it work. Okay. All right. FMC, absolutely not. FMCSA slapped with over 700 comments on plan to mandate electronic ID technology for CMVs. Hundreds of people provided the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration with an opinion on a controversial proposal to require that commercial vehicles be equipped with electronic identification technology accessible by law enforcement when the truck is parked or in motion. Oh, let me say something, man. Truck and Hustle podcast. Oh no, Truck and Hustle. He has a podcast, but it's almost like a talk show. It's almost like a talk show. He was one of the first transportation podcasts on YouTube, on Instagram, and I decided to come into that realm because of the interview that my wife did with him. And then I interviewed him. He blessed me he blessed me when he came on to my platform and allowed me to interview him. And I appreciate it because that's the way it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it's supposed to go. And I appreciate Ramel for coming in and blessing us, blessing our platform, and blessing us to be a part of, and for my wife to be an alumni of all the thousands of interviews he's done. And so shout out to Truck and Hustle. Just want to say this, that on November the 4th through the 6th in Houston, Texas, Truck and Hustle will have their freight conference. They would have their freight conference. Man, go get your tickets. Check out what they got going on. I just looked on his Instagram. They're still putting together the itinerary. So I think you can get your hotels when you book. They got things set up where you can have your hotels and be a part and not have to walk so far, I guess, from where the conference will be. They are going to have an alumni dinner, which I think is out of this world. He's giving back to the people who gave to him, and I think that he is he already doing it, but he is taking his platform to another level. And then some of the things that apples and bananas. Apples and bananas. I think that I really think that is A1. I really think it's A1. So I just wanted to drop that in there real quick before I forget. I'll drop it again before I leave, before we get out of here. Remember, Truck and Hustle, Trucking Conference, hosted by Truck and Hustle, sponsored by OTR Solutions, in Houston, Texas, November the 4th through the 6th. So, electronic commercial vehicle IDs to allow police to focus on high-risk carriers and drivers. On September 23rd, the FMCSA published advance notice of proposed rulemaking asking the trucking community to weigh in on whether every commercial vehicle used in interstate commerce should be equipped with electronic identification technology that can wisely communicate a unique ID number when queried by federal or state motor carrier safety personnel. The technology could be used to identify a parked truck or a truck in motion. The agency said that they are considering such amendments to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the roadside inspection program by more fully enabling enforcement agencies to focus their efforts at high-risk carriers and drivers. Now, I told you guys about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I told you guys, give your opinion on this. FMCSA was taking opinions on this. And the reason they're taking opinions on this because this type of invasion will run truckers to other careers. Trucking used to be, well, Smokey and the Bandit. I got a long road to hoe and a short time to get there, right? That's when you become a trucker because you want to travel and see the country. You want to move and deliver things. You want to make money. And you want to have freedom. Nobody watching over your shoulder. Nobody, telling you this and telling you that. You kind of make your own schedule. I know how long it's going to take me to get there. If it takes me 6 hours, I might leave 8. If it takes me 6 hours because I want to do something, I might leave a day before so I can have a day in this spot and then still be able to get. You want to be able to, you are able to set your own schedule because you are responsible for getting that freight from one place to the other safely with nobody over your back. This CMVID that they want to say going to make policing us easier. Why would we want you to police us, make your life easier, police us, give us tickets for anything, give us warning for any little thing? Why would I want you watching over me when I got into trucking? Because I didn't want a supervisor over my shoulder. So I became a truck driver. And when I became a truck driver, I fell in love with being a truck driver. I fell in love with solving problems. I fell in love with seeing someone's face when their product gets there and say, man, we've been waiting on this. And I'll be like, man, I got it here. It's satisfying to know that you've arrived or you've picked up and delivered something to a business, or even when you're in a box truck, something to someone's home that's been waiting on that. That's payment too. To see the satisfaction on a customer's face when you make that delivery. Now you're asking DOT, you're trying to make it easier for them to mess with us. I mean, what purpose does that make just to make their lives easier? And once again, it's going to be another bill on the truckers because we're going to have to pay for it. This is not going to be a federally funded program. If you want that CMVID on a truck to make their lives easier, fund it. Fund the ID. And you'll change your mind. Fund the ID. Fund the CMVID. And then another thing is, for me, it's always about making money with them. Somebody has interest in this CMVID. Believe that. This is not something that just popped up around the corner because they want to make public safety, make the public safer. They've done everything they could from 1968 up until now to make the public safety safer, and we're still having rollovers. We're still having people being in accidents, losing their lives. You're still going to have human error when it comes to driving a 4-wheeler, driving a motorcycle, driving an 18-wheeler. Human error will happen. Accidents happen. But putting the CMVID in a truck is not the way to go. I don't need you got weigh stations that you pull into, and they do a level 1 all the way up to a level 8 inspection. Is it a waste of time and you cutting into my drive time, or you cutting into my time getting to where I'm going? Yeah. But I'd rather for you to do that than for you to have an ID in my truck like Big Brother watching over me. I don't need you in my truck watching me. I don't need you, even if it ain't no video. I don't need you monitoring my mileage. I don't need you monitoring my idle time. I don't need you monitoring, if something goes wrong with my truck. I don't need you monitoring that. If something wrong with my truck and you pull me over and you say something wrong with it, okay, I'll get it fixed. But you guys have sounded out. I wish it could have been more. It says that as of the afternoon of October the 7th, the FMCSA had received 766 public comments on the proposed rule. A majority of the commenters are against the rule, with some calling it an outreach of the federal government. Many commenters also voiced cost, privacy, and cybersecurity concerns. Of course, you talking about electronic, you talking about this, man. When you stretch out stuff like that, bro, you got hackers all day long that'll shut stuff down and say, if you don't give us this, you're not coming back up. We're going to crash your whole business, holding businesses hostage. I feel this is just another cost to the trucking industry. Once again, somebody making money. And I don't understand why it is necessary. What is the USDOT number for? I thought it was for this exact purpose. And if a person cannot type a number in, then our country is in serious trouble. Tomcat Can Haul. Tomcat Can Haul Inc. Another one says, yeah, I'm reading comments that CDL Life posted on their site. Go to CDL Life and read the article. As a veteran driver of 20 years, congratulations. On the road, I say no, because this will promote distracted driving issues with the inspecting officer as he is driving, as he is trying to drive safely. I don't know about that. And also messing with the onboard computer to do the inspection. It would also promote Hey, we're back. Ah, yeah, I hate when my computer shuts down like that. I'm gonna have to get somebody in here to to kind of do something because I hate when they do that. But back to what I was saying, I'm going to jump in where I left off. Now here we go with this. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. What did I have up there? So that's exactly what he was saying was it would also promote officers to issue false complaints against the driver who would have no knowledge of this until it is too late to fight the ticket. MCM Express. So I didn't think about that. This is what would happen in CMVID. Say you're driving 75 and it's a 65. CMVID would allow DOT to see that your truck is going 10 miles over the speed limit. Guess what? They send you a ticket in the mail, and there's no way you can fight it. You live in Houston, but you got the ticket in New York. You gonna go back to court for that ticket? Back and forth? So I wouldn't put. I don't want that. I don't want to see that happening to any truck driver. And once again, like I said, fund it, and we'll see how far it goes. Somebody got their hand in somebody's pocket, and they trying to make some money off of this little CMVID that they created. You know what I'm saying? Off of this little CMV that they created. One more. Let's read one more. Absolutely not. I've only been in this 6 years, but the reach of the federal government in this industry is really becoming overbearing. You're worried about a shortage now, but I promise you it will get worse the more intrusive the FMCSA gets. Now, wait a minute. Let me say this here. Most of the bills and the laws that come across FMCSA's desk is by a senator or a House representative that's bringing these bills forward. They'll bring it to FMCSA and say, hey, this is something that we want to see if it's plausible to implement. It's not really FMCSA. It's senators, and because I think I read it, go back on that last week, it's a senator that's and a House representative that's bringing the bill. They're bringing this. And see, like I said before, just like somebody created the ELD to go in your truck so that they can do electric monitoring of your hours, of your drive time, of your sleep time. When somebody profited from that. Somebody developed that, took it to a House representative and said, let's make some money. And so now FMCSA approved that. See, for me, I think that ELD is more effective than CMVID, because if I get pulled in the weigh station and I got my ELD unit sitting up there, I ain't got the fool with a logbook. I'd rather for you to see, okay, you got that. Can you email it? Yeah, I can email it. Okay, going on about your business. And sometimes they don't even ask you that. If they see you got electronic log device in your truck, they're just going on because you got, like the guy said before, you got a DOT number. Once they see that DOT number on the side of your truck and they take a picture of it, and then they get up there and they see you got an ELD, guess what? They'll say, okay, going on. If you don't have an ELD, they're going to want to see your logbooks and make sure you're doing your logs right. So for me on the ELD side, at first I was like ELD, but in the long run, when you start getting pulled over, and they want to do a level 1, whatever, when they see their logbook, they be like, oh, okay, let's go to the screen where I can see what you've been doing. It was a gift. And then he said, you're worried about a shortage now, but I promise you it will get worse the more intrusive the FMCSA gets. I have another good 30 years or so, and I enjoy the work I do, but I'm content with leaving also. David Jacobson. That was a good comment. You're asking for drivers. You're training drivers. You got the ELD training in place. And so now, since you got the ELD training in place to make sure that the roadways are safe, now you want to put a CMV ID on the truck. Man, come on. Don't FMCSA, please knock that down. Y'all can still go and make your comments and make everything well. No, I'm gonna read one more because this one here. Let me see. This is Janelle Anderson. This is another outlandish proposal that would not result in increased road safety for any American. This kind of technology would be better used by the CMV operators themselves to directly identify issues during pre-trip, en route, and post-trip. To give DOT officers, this is only another money grab that will increase driver anxiety and tension toward DOT officers, when it should do the opposite. It makes the driver feel like a criminal for simply doing our job. Currently, CMV drivers is the only occupation that I know of that a person can go to work and not only potentially die every second of the day rolling or parked and absolutely receive a monetary fine or go to jail or in prison for life just by doing our job. If a dentist drills a little too deep, too much to the left, and cause undue damage to a patient, no one will show up the same day and write $1,000 fine. Truck drivers are the only professional held to unrealistic standards that cost money and run risk of jail time. Every other profession, including police officers, are given due process even with overwhelming evidence. Wow. Drivers are tired, judged, and fined by hourly employees that wield powers beyond their training. This technology will only increase the number good drivers that are issued frivolous, uncontestable warnings and cash penalties. Regulate four-wheel cars the same way you regulate CMVs. He summed up everything we just talked about. Janelle Anderson. Man, those are the comments that they need to read. Those are the comments that need to be coming through FMCSA from drivers, even from just public figures, even somebody that's in shipping, receiving, mechanics. If you got a husband and he a truck driver, you got a wife and she a truck driver, you should be dropping making your comments. This is the time for you to have a voice. So go to FMCSA's website, type in CMVID and drop a comment. Drop a comment. They have it open for you guys to come in, drop a comment, and just go from there. Okay? Go in and make yourself known. Drop the comment. Let's move on to this one. 84 immigrants found after concerned citizen reports tractor trailer driving at nearby residence. Wow. These folks are nosy, but nosy in a good way. The incident occurred on October the 6th near Weslaco Texas. According to Spectrum News, a concerned citizen called to report a tractor trailer arrived at a residence. Oh, it stopped. And seeing people unloading from the trailer. Wow, he made it to his destination. He delivered some immigrants to a residence unharmed. Got him in. That driver got him in. When officers arrived, they found 84 immigrants, all from Central America, none of which required medical attention. Wow. And they were all healthy. Wow. Agents with ICE Homeland Security Investigations are looking into the incident as a possible case of human smuggling. No further information has been released. Now, when you say human smuggling, right? Oh, he got a refund back of his truck, so they were good. He probably had a refund. Probably the only thing they probably got too cold. The only thing I can say about this, they said human smuggling. Now, I guess it goes, for me, when you say human smuggling is when you take somebody against their will and you put them into a dire situation and you make them do things that otherwise they're not supposed to be doing, right? You're making them do things that are sexually, sex trafficking, human smuggling. I think is, well, I guess it's the same thing because when you say human smuggling, that means that you're doing them some harm. And I guess you can be put in harm's way, but when you make a decision to leave one area and you taking a chance and you're getting on the back of this, getting in this 18-wheeler, you're taking a chance on your life. And no one's forcing you, I don't think, but you're taking a chance to go somewhere and make a better life, right? So I don't know about human smuggling because then that means you're at gunpoint and they're making you get on the van or they're making you get in the back of this 18-wheeler. That's what I'm thinking when they say human smuggling. But I think most of these people are getting in voluntarily in order to come to America and make a better place for themselves, right? So I don't know, but that's what's happening. They still smuggling. They're still bringing in illegal immigrants into the United States to have a better life. I don't know what they're going to need to do to come in legally in order to, be a citizen and all of that. But I just was tripping on when they said human smuggling. I think all of the people are coming in just they're getting on there voluntarily and they're trying to make a better life for themselves, come to a better place. So I don't know. There's them immigrants, people have opinions about that and all of that. I don't have an opinion. I was just speaking on the article. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. So moving on. Moving on up. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Family. Now I'm gonna say that one for last. I'm gonna close out with that one. This one is truck brake light exemption denied despite industry support. So this is one that's really, really iffy. Fayetteville, Arkansas based IntelliStop Inc., which makes a device that prompts pre-existing brake lights to pulse briefly for added safety. When brakes are engaged, has sought an industry-wide exemption from federal regulations that require all commercial vehicles to be equipped with steady burning brake lamps. So when you say exemption, that means that they are able to put these lights. Okay, if you've ever seen a stoplight and then it's red, right? And you see it's red and you see it with a little white circle around it and it's kind of pulsating. That's what they're talking about. And they are saying that if you decide to put this on your truck, you would be exempt. You would be okay because you're not so you're when you push your brakes, they're not supposed to blink. It's supposed to be a steady red light so that people could see, oh, okay, the lights. Or if your light is blinking, that means that you have a short in your wiring. And that's why this won't pass. Because you're gonna have too many people with blinking lights, and they're gonna think, oh, okay, that's the pulsating light they have on there. And they're not gonna be able to tell whether they have a defect or not. That's why this won't pass. Because it's a safety issue. It has nothing to do with helping the public be aware that the truck is stopping. That's not gonna stop somebody who's texting behind an 18-wheeler. That's not gonna stop them from running into the back of an 18-wheeler. It won't stop them because they're not paying attention. They're not looking. So it's not. This is kind of futile to me. It's not. IntelliStop's exemption application filed in 2020 had been supported by the American Trucking Association, the Arkansas Trucking Association, and Warner Enterprises, and several other carriers and individuals. But the FMCSA ruled that a major bar it uses to grant such exemptions if evidence that it would achieve a level of safety equivalent to or greater than would be achieved absent the exemption had not been cleared. While the agency recognizes the existing data that supports the potential safety value of alternative rear signaling system in general, it's also mindful of the data deficiencies in the area. So the data is deficiencies is where it's not conclusive that nobody's going to be more alert because they see a pulsating light. For me, I'm going to be like, yeah, what's wrong with these lights? Oh, you must got a wire shortage because I'm a driver. It's not, for me, it's not going to make a difference. And it's not going to make a difference whether they pass it. Only thing I don't want them to do is when they pass it, or if they decide that you're cool with having those lights on there, don't try and make everybody get those lights. If you pass it and say, hey, it's cool for you to have these lights if you want them. If you got them, you cool. If you don't, you still cool. Don't make everybody, because when you get those lights like that, you're going to have to do a rewiring on your system in order for it to be compatible with your pigtail with your system on the front, unless they got something that's going to be plug and play, where you can cut the wiring here and put in a plug and play adoption on the end of it, and then you just plug and play with the lights. Because it's just like with lead lights. You just can't put lead lights in the truck and say, okay, or in the car and say, okay, I got lead lights now. No, your light's going to flicker fast because you have to put a regulator in your fuse box to help those lights regulate. If not, the light on your dashboard is going to blink fast. Right? So for me with this here, it's a hit or miss. It's not a big deal. You can have it or you cannot have it. But like the CMVID, please don't try to make it mandatory that everybody have a pulsating light. If you approve it, say, hey, man, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You know, it's on you. It's not mandatory. And we won't ticket you if you do have it. You just need to let me know if I pull you over and do a level 1. Hey, man, I got pulsating lights in the back. And that may be a reason that you get pulled over. That's why I would want them. Because if DOT behind me at night and all he doing is minding his business, but once they get behind you, they're checking to make sure all your lights work. Believe you me, if a DOT behind you in the middle of the night and he far off from you, he's checking to make sure that all of your lights work on your trailer. And then you got these pulsating lights on the back of your trailer and you hit your brakes. And then he see you hit your brakes, but he also see these pulsating lights, and he hasn't been made aware that you have pulsating. They have them lights that pulsate like that. he's going to think you have a problem with your lighting system, and he's going to pull you over and probably do a level 1, 2, or 3 on the side of the road. I don't want nothing drawing their attention to my truck. Nothing. Because when they pull you over, you almost damn near, they got it. They gonna tell him, hey man, you gotta give me a reason why you pulled him over. Oh well, I gave him a warning for one of his lights was too dim. I could see it, but it was still too dim, so I gave him a warning for that. He gonna get it fixed. Oh, okay. You can't fight a warning, man. Give me a ticket. Let me fight it. You can't fight a warning. So that's where I am on those pulsating lights. It's a hit or miss for me. It ain't no big deal. You can take it or leave it. So I'm gonna close out with this article. I think it's kind of important. And I read about this, maybe not this article, but I read about the medical certificates probably about maybe 3 weeks ago. And so this is just another article that I ran across. It says family looking to change loophole. Let me see if I can share this real quick. I may be able to share this. Let me see. Extra camera, share screen. Yeah. Let me see if I can share this screen. Select window. Let me see if I can share this, y'all. Okay. Bam. There we go. I can share this with you guys. So this is the article right here. Let me see if I can put myself in the corner somewhere. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. So this is go back over here. Nope. I'm playing, y'all. I'm getting this done. Okay. So this is the article. This is the article here. And the article reads, family looking to change CDL loophole after driver who forged medical documents killed their granddaughter during seizure while driving. As you know, now a medical doctor can deny your medical record, your medical certificate. Well, what makes that so interesting is they are now, even if you're in good health, if they see something with you, they can make the call and say no. They can make the call and say no. Just plain and simple. They can make the call and say no. You can never get a card again. You can't get it again. Whatever. They can make that decision. Whereas at first you had to go through FMCSA, the medical board, and all that kind of stuff. Well, now they can make that decision. So let me. Well, I'm not gonna say they can make that decision now. I think I read they're putting it in play. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody let me know. I'll do some more research on it. But I think they are putting it in play, or it's almost in play that they can deny it. I think they've been able to say, nah, you're not fit, or whatever the case may be. But I think they have more power to do so with this. A family whose daughter and grandchild, and this is public safety. See, let me show you something. When they're getting ready to move something, they are going to find the interest of the public. And I'm not saying this is horrible right here that she lost her daughter and her grandchild. But they're using this to push the fact that we want medical doctors. I think they want medical doctors to be held accountable, because you do have doctors out there that will take a hefty little payout to give me my medical card when they know that I'm 400 pounds overweight, I'm not on the CPAP machine, and I'm still behind the wheel of a truck. And so what they're saying is medical doctors now can determine that you are no longer fit to drive a truck. And the reason they're doing that is because now I think where they were getting paid under the table, they were being paid under the table to pass some of these guys who are not fit. They're going to allow them to be held responsible when something like this happened and you've signed off on his medical card. I think that's what's happening. And then in turn, what's going to happen is in a long line, you just don't, if you sue somebody or you sue the company or the driver, you're not going to sue the driver, you're going to sue the company. Then you're going to sue, the lawyer's going to start breaking down, who else can we sue? Let's sue the medical doctor who signed his medical certificate because he has a history of heart attacks. He has a history of strokes. He has a history of seizures. And that's what they're saying here. A family whose daughter and granddaughter were killed when a truck driver had a seizure at the wheel is looking to change the rules surrounding CDL holders and epilepsy. And I don't think it's just epilepsy. It's just that they had to put something specific in there. And so once they put something specific in there, now it's going to roll over into other things. But this one is epilepsy, right? Kimberly 5-year-old Solomon and 3-year-old Tova were killed in a crash on I-10 in Arizona back in 2018. During that crash, truck driver Bradley Cooley had a seizure behind the wheel. Wow. Sending his truck across the median into oncoming traffic where it struck multiple cars and caught fire. Now, let me say this here. A seizure can happen on anyone because you don't know. Sometimes you can be in great health. I've talked to many guys, and I've had some guys that I know that were in great shape. I'm talking about work out every day, weight is below their BMI is where it's supposed to be. And something happens that they don't know about because it's called a silent killer. It's called a silent disease. And so at the end of the day, when they got ready, when they were ready to when they were driving or whatever they were doing at the moment, I know a guy who had just came back from running 2 miles, and he was in shape. He was good. Went in the house, took a shower, and had a heart attack and died. You just don't know what your body's going through beneath the skin, beneath the muscle, beneath the mass. You don't know. And I'm in agreement that you should go in. I think that they should make sure that every truck driver, I don't care how you are, begins to do a well man's check every year. That's what I think. A well man's check is nothing but you're taking a physical every year. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I was young, driving trucks, I ain't had nothing to worry about. But times have changed. I should have been taking a well man's when I was 28, 29, 30, 31. I didn't do my first well man's until about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. That's when I did my first well man's check. But if they're going to do anything, they need to make men and women, if you're a truck driver, they should make you adhere to doing a well woman's or a well man's check every year. That's what I think. Just to make sure you're good. Now, if something happens in between that the doctor didn't catch or that just snuck up on you, things happen. Docs can't catch everything. But go in and get yourself checked as a truck driver. Your life literally depends on it. This guy's life would never be the same. The people that he took, the lives that he took, their lives will never be the same. I understand people got this mentality of I gotta feed my family. It's just like somebody coming in to my house to rob me because I got a little bit more than them. Or they think I got a little bit more than them. And the first thing they tell me, man, I gotta feed my family. So you gonna come take from me? So he had to feed his family, so he took from another family in the form of a life because he had to feed his family. Now I'm not saying that he's any more wrong than anyone else who has an accident. But I'm giving you a parallel or another way of thinking about what happened. Because watch when I read the rest of the article. To this day, Cooley says that he did not know what happened that day. ABC reports that Cooley had a history of seizures. Okay, now we're getting into the meat of it. Cooley had a history of seizures at the time of the wreck and has even been accused of forging documents to keep his CDL despite the medical events. The parents of the woman killed in the wreck, the Frankels, say that their tragic loss demonstrates a gap in federal oversight when it comes to CDLs. See, this is where it's going to get caught up. He said Cooley had a history of seizures at the time of the wreck. A seizure is head trauma because the brain decides to do something and you start having a seizure. I'm not a medical doctor. That's just my thinking, because I know that I've had some friends that have seizures, and I've seen them just, I'll be like, man, wake up. They just be asleep and they've had a seizure. And it's neurology. It's head trauma. And it's bad. And it's just like somebody, I had a partner that I know, he had a brain tumor and didn't know it. And he was driving trucks. And luckily for him and anybody else, he was at home when he passed out. But now, because of that, he can no longer ever drive trucks again because of that one episode. But see, from the way they're talking, and this could even go into criminal, because the way they're talking is he knew he had a history of seizures and has been accused of forging documents to keep his CDL. So if they wanted to push it, they could say he forged the CDL, which caused the results of taking the life, robbing the life from a family. You can take that into criminal because you forged documents. When you forge documents, are federal documents. Your medical license, your medical certificate is a federal document. And then they can charge you with murder because you intentionally got behind a vehicle knowing that it's a possibility that you could lose consciousness. Although people officially diagnosed with epilepsy are typically prohibited from obtaining a CDL, drivers in most states are not required to report when or if they've had a seizure. And doctors and medical professionals are not required to notify transportation officials if their patient has had one. Only 6 states have mandatory reporting laws for professional drivers when it comes to seizures. So they can't report that because that's a HIPAA violation. They can't tell transportation about, what their patient, that's a HIPAA violation. But when you go into Nova, Concentra, wherever you go to do your thing, they're about to change that. Not your PCP, not your personal doctor, but when you go to do your medical, because your personal doctor is not cleared to do your medical unless they have that certification. But Concentra, Nova, those doctors, let's read into this article. Documents revealed that Cooley denied having seizures or epilepsy during multiple medical evaluations as a way to keep his CDL and did not list anti-seizure medications he was prescribed and actively taking. Now I think what's going to happen is you're going to have to sign a waiver that, like when you go for a specialist, you sign a document allowing your PCP to disclose your medical to the specialist, right? They can share your medical record because you sign a document that allow for PCP to the specialist to, give medical information on your behalf, what type you've been taking, the blood, what your blood results have been when you've done blood tests and all that kind of stuff. So you sign those papers because if you ever have to have surgery with that specialist, he needs to know what's been going on as you've been seeing the PCP. Now Coley is facing 3 criminal charges for allegedly. See, I just said it. I hadn't even made it down to I hadn't even read the whole article yet. Coley is facing 3 criminal charges for allegedly forging multiple documents to keep his CDL, but is not facing charges for the deadly crash specifically. The forgery charges were not issued until 2021, so he hasn't been charged for the wreck, and I see why this family is upset. The judgment, because check this out, they charged Rogel in Colorado for the wreck that he caused, but they didn't charge this gentleman for the wreck that he caused, the lives that he took. So I see why the family is upset. The judge determined that the evidence presented did not provide probable cause to support the warrant, so it was not issued. They also stated that there was not enough evidence to support that it was a seizure that caused Cooley to crash. Despite the accident, Cooley said he hopes to get his CDL back someday. Boy, you crazy. So they gonna work on this at some point in time. Yes, that's driving trucks. What I've done my whole life. The Frankels says Coley's intention to get his CDL back someday is just another example of why more needs to be done to address the problem of epilepsy in trucking. So it doesn't happen to another family, Pearl Frankel said, so they don't go through what we went through, what we are still going through. And I sympathize with Miss Frankel, Miss Pearl Frankel. I really, 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 really do sympathize with Miss Pearl Frankel. That that's a hard pill to swallow, y'all. I'm so serious, and I always relate that back to your family. Your family being on the road, just driving down the road, just taking a road trip together, just going to the store, just going around the corner, just making a quick trip to fill up on gas for the week. And something tragic happens like this, where some guy thinks that my head trauma still gives me the right to drive trucks and take a chance just because I need to feed my family. But now I done took somebody else's family because I needed to feed my family. And that's just not right. I'm on the side. I'm a trucker, but I'm on the side of right. I'm on the side of right. And that was not right. Especially with knowing that he forged his medical card. And whatever doctor he paid to get a medical card, I think should be charged also. It's just heartbreaking, man, when you hear about somebody losing their life because of a mistake that the driver made. So if it wasn't an epilepsy, that means you were driving fatigued and you fell asleep at the back of the wheel of the truck. When are we going to start allowing ourselves to have compassion for the next man? When are we going to start putting ourselves in someone else's shoes to understand that I don't want my wife, my child, my mother, my sister, my daughter, my brother, I don't want them to be taken away from here by a truck driver who forged his medical card, knowing he was having seizures and blacked out behind the wheel of a truck and took a life, 2 lives, 3 lives. It's not fair. There's nothing in it to say what he did was right. He did nothing right from the word say go, because he shouldn't have been behind the truck. That's just my opinion on this article. And I stand with Miss Pearl Frankel when she says that he should be held accountable in the death of her daughter and her granddaughter. Plain and simple. Can't tell you what needs to happen, but he does need to be accountable. 2018, and nothing still has happened. But you immediately put the cuffs on Rogel because he lost his brakes and killed 4 people down in Colorado. I wonder what the difference was. I wonder what the difference was. That they didn't put the cuffs on him, but they put the cuffs on us. I wonder what the difference was. Listen, man, take care of yourselves. Man, go get your well man's check, because you might be able to catch something before it get too bad. Go get yourself checked. Make sure that you're in good health so you can keep your license and keep the public safe and feed your family at the same time. Put neither one of them in jeopardy, because believe me when I tell you, it is not worth it. It is not worth it. So that's my time, man. I kind of went a little longer than I thought. We still on this prostate cancer journey. It's almost that time. I got a couple of weeks, and so we'll still be talking about it. We'll still be having conversations about it. We'll still be behind the mic about it. And if you have any questions, like I said, come through. Hit me at the freighttrappingpodcast@gmail.com. If you like the video, share it, like it, subscribe to the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Once again, I'm just here giving game. I'm just here giving my opinion. I'm just here to allow people to talk. Once again, watch next week live in studio on your screen will be Miss Rachel Bowens, aka the Diesel Diva. And we'll be talking to her about her journey in trucking. We'll be live next week. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Come in, comment, talk, check, ask her questions, ask me questions. Hopefully you guys can get in. This has been the Freight Trapping Podcast. I have been your host. Look at my green screen, yeah. I have been your host, Mr. James Roberts, and I just want to wish you guys a good night, a good week. Be safe. And remember, each and every day, get home the way you left. I just want to say peace. And be safe. We'll holler at you.
Out of touch with my feelings, dressing appearances. Feeling more solid about who the man in the mirror is. I reach for hearts through the speaker box to connect with strangers. Painting the page with the language, but off the mic I barely speak it all. I seldom see a flaw, bitch, I need it all. Shook by the way life is lately. I feel the earth pirouette, I'm dazed like I'm seeing stars. Got them all on the wave.